There are hedge fund managers making $1 million an hour. You know, it's crazy, right? It's money everywhere. It's money in everything. I want to help you. Start your business today. Come join my royal family. Subscribe to Casino is the name.
Hey, yo, what's going on right now? You watching Casino is the Name, and in this video, we're going to talk about none other than the war on CPAs, or Certified Public Accountants. So there are a number of reasons that people will want to pursue a CPA. I know that when I was first thinking about becoming an accountant, and in case you don't know, I'm an accountant. I am not a CPA, but at a period of time when I was dreaming of becoming an accountant and pursuing my degree in accounting, I was definitely focused on becoming a CPA, like getting my CPA. I was already preparing myself to test and everything like that. And the more and more I learned about the profession and actually got into the industry, I realized that there wasn't any financial benefit to me getting my CPA based off of, say, my position or my role. It really wouldn't have benefited me financially staying in whatever role that I was in. And I was working in government accounting. And my position it wouldn't have mattered. I would have made 6 figures with or without the CPA. It would have been like oh yeah, you're a CPA, but I wouldn't have received any financial benefit of it. So then when I thought about the testing and all of that kind of stuff and materials and all of those things, even though my job said, hey, we'll probably provide those materials for you if you'd like to study for it, but it was no real benefit to me. And, I've been in college, I got 2 degrees, and I was just like, you know what, I want to live some, I want to enjoy the fruits of my labor. I wasn't going to get any financial benefit from it. And I am one who does not believe in over-educating with no financial benefit. I just don't believe in it, unless you can afford to do so. Like if you can just afford to go to college, maybe you're born rich and your family just like, look, just go to college for something. Or maybe you just got enough money, or maybe you got the GI Bill or some kind of scholarship, and you just want to go to school just to learn about something. And you can afford it, that's great. But for those many of us who were not fortunate enough to just go to school for nothing, like I did have the GI Bill, but I still needed to go to get something that I could actually use. Like if you could afford to go to college and do 4 years or 6 years to get a master's, and there's no real, get your bachelor's in 4 years, 2 years for a master's, get a PhD in another, I don't know how many years, 1, 2, 3, 4 years, however long it takes you to finish a PhD. If you can afford to do all of that school and not actually plan ever to work in the industry that you're getting that education in, or need to work in the industry that you're getting that education in, then I understand, go do that. But for the masses, for the many of us who cannot afford to do so, ladies and gentlemen, we need to be very intentional about the time and energy that we spend in these colleges, okay? Don't just go to school because you think it's an interesting subject, okay? Have an exit plan or an entry plan, like plan to enter into a field once you're done with this education. A lot of people just going to school, and when I ask them, I'm an accountant, so I speak to a lot of people about the future plans, and this channel is geared around the education and things like that. So I speak to a lot of people about what their plans are. When people tell me, oh, I'm in school for this, I'm in school for this, I'm like, okay, so how much can you make? And especially if it's a foreign, like, kind of industry. I've never heard of this industry before. And so I'm like, okay, well, you may be getting a bachelor's degree in forestry, right? And I'm not sure what people can make in forestry. I'm not necessarily automatically thinking, oh, you can't make any money in that. But I'm just like, I don't know anything about it. So I'll ask them, I'll say, okay, so, what position, like what job correlates with, a bachelor's in forestry. And sometimes they're like, oh, I don't really know. I just like trees. I just think forests are interesting and we need to save them. And so I said, okay, well, does that degree translate over into saving the trees? And they said, oh, probably not. Probably it translates into cutting them down more than likely. And I'm like, what? Like, well, how is this? So what job are you looking to get? I don't know yet. Like, okay, well, how much does it pay? Like, what's the averages on this salary? And they're like, I have no idea. And so it's like, okay, well, why are you going to school for forestry? Well, I just like trees. I thought it was interesting. I want to save the forest. And those ideals don't line up. They make no sense. There are people who are pursuing an associate's degree in psychology. They don't plan on getting a bachelor's degree in psychology. They don't plan. And then there are people who are in a bachelor's program in psychology, and when in the semester they're getting ready to graduate, they find out that they can't get a job with that bachelor's, that they need to go on and get a master's degree in order to work in the space that they want to work in. And then they need to get pass clinicals in order to work in a certain space. And so they're like, wait, what? Like, you trying to tell me I can't afford to go back and get a master's degree? I need to go get a job. And some of them, one lady was selling jewelry in the mall. She finished her degree in sociology or psychology, got a master's degree, and she had done all the education requirements, but she could not pass some kind of test and her clinicals or whatever. She couldn't pass whatever this test is to get certified. And she ended up selling jewelry in the mall. I was the one talking her back into getting back refocused into, re-pursuing, but she failed that test so many times. She just was, I think you got clinicals and a test. So she's done everything, but just could not pass that test. And it just became so overwhelming. And we're talking 10 years later, she's like, you know what? I'm just going to sell this jewelry. And so I was like, yo, you need to get back into it, get back focused, get back on your studies or whatever. And I don't know what she ever did with that. But, to hear these stories is because people, don't fully even know all the things they have to do when they start out pursuing something. You might start out saying, oh, you know what, I want to be a medical doctor. And I say, well, how long do you have to be in school? How long from school to the time that you're a doctor? A lot of people don't know. They're in their junior year, and I'm saying, okay, so you plan on being a medical doctor? Okay, cool. So, how long will it be before from graduating from high school to the time that you would start work? And they're like, I don't know, maybe like 6 years. And it's like, wow, I know better than that, right? And how are you in a pre-med program or something like that? You're going to finish your bachelor's in pre-med, and unless you get accepted into a medical school, which I hope you do, or, go on to do something else, let's say you get accepted into a medical program, great. But the chance that you don't get accepted into medical school, what are you going to do with pre or bachelor's in pre-med? It's not even a concentration. I mean, I guess it's a concentration in pre-medicine, but it's no real use case for it. And so with the accounting, a lot of people believe or think that when you tell somebody, hey, I'm an accountant, they say, oh, okay, how long have you been a CPA? Not a CPA. And they're like, oh, you're not? So how are you an accountant? Like, they don't understand that doesn't mean you're not an accountant. Unlike becoming a lawyer, where if you finish your Juris Doctorate, you're not a lawyer until you pass the bar. But in accounting, you're an accountant once you graduate with your bachelor's degree in accounting or get a master's degree in accounting or something like that. Anything a bachelor's above or above degreed in accounting, you would be considered an accountant. And so people would think that you have to take some kind of certification. There is no state board or certification that is required to be considered an accountant. Now, if you said I'm a certified public accountant, that is an actual certification. Then yes, you need to be certified public accountant. But there's so many different types of certifications, and they are in large part not required. And I just came across this video. I don't even know how it came on. I don't know, maybe because I talk about a lot of accounting stuff, or maybe I watch a few accounting videos, but this video popped up on my timeline. And that's when I said, oh snap, because I'm thinking I'm like a lone wolf out here. Okay, most of the people who I know on YouTube who are accountants are actual CPAs. Like the people who I probably watch, they're actually CPAs because they want a different career path than I did. But you know, outside of the people on like YouTube, most of the people who are accountants are not CPAs. And it's great if you're a CPA. I'm just saying, unless you're in a position that requires you get a CPA, then I don't really see a benefit of having the CPA. It's a great speaking tool, right? But that's kind of like, to me, getting a PhD in basketball science or something like that. I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there. But that's like getting a PhD in basketball science. And I never plan on being a basketball professor, or I don't plan on writing books talking about basketball or whatever. I just want to get a doctorate, and this is the easiest doctorate I can get. But I don't actually plan on using the doctorate in any professional manner. I just want to finish a degree, a doctorate, and this is an easy program for me to do. So I just want to do that. I don't really see the benefit of it outside of you get a doctor put on your name or whatever. But, and there may be a benefit to you, maybe a personal benefit, but I mean financial benefit. I don't actually have any desires to add letters behind my name or something like that just for, bragging rights. I don't actually care. I need something that I can actually use, that I can buy houses with and cars and stuff like that, and take my children, to Disneyland because I've been able to generate money from this tool of a degree. And so I was watching this video, and it was very surprising. Hold on, let me see what the name of it is. The name of it is The CPA Pipeline: Challenges and Opportunities for the Profession. So, I was like, you know what? I'm not a CPA. Let me pop in and just take a look around. I'm thinking, you know what? Maybe one day I find a use for the CPA and I'll decide to go that route. Because I can sit for it now. I have enough college credits and everything. You got to have at least 150, at least in Georgia. And, so I can sit for it now, but it's no real benefit for me. So I went to look at this video, and there was a very interesting intro to it. So the guy who's leading the conversation, he says that he's basically, there's been a huge decline in interest in becoming a CPA in the industry, and people are not sitting for it because they're saying that they don't see a real benefit to it from the stance of financially beneficial, to equate with the level of effort and energy they have to put into it to get a financial reward. But people do say, yeah, we still think it's valuable. It's a great idea to get a CPA for standards purposes, or we see the value in being certified and stuff like that. But we don't see the value in comparison to the level of effort and energy you have to put in. So the guy is making that case. And so my thing is, if there's no financial benefit to it, what are you basing the value off of? And so anyway, the guy's basically, he's he's trying to push people into the profession. And I completely understand that. And I wanted you guys real quick to just kind of hear what the guy said, who he brought on right behind him.
Hearing from those schools in terms of college accounting program enrollments.
Yeah, happy to comment on that, Don, but maybe before I do, I just want to react quickly to a couple things in the slides, some great information you shared there. Yeah. One thing is, your slides, I think, were largely focused on the front end of the pipeline, right? But another dimension of this issue and this challenge is what's happening at the back end. And we all know that the baby boomers are retiring. And if you think about the baby boomers, I think the common definition of that demographic is people born between 1946 and 1964.
He's going to go on and talk about just the baby boomers thing. That's not what I'm trying to find. Oh, you know what? I'll just summarize what what he was talking, what he speaks on. So he basically says, because I ain't gonna lie, I know when people say accountants are boring. When I listen to them, and don't get me wrong, I understand. I'm listening for information, so I'm like, you know what, I'm not so bored by it because I know, I'm listening for information and I'm just hearing interesting statements. But the energy behind it is crazy. The energy behind it is crazy. Okay, they are so dry, clear eyes. Okay, like nobody wants to listen to that long. They need to bring me on so I can add some fire to this, because if you guys see this, I'm talking to you guys. But and I gotta go see what this organization even is. But they are speaking about accounting, and basically the baby boomers are getting ready to go out. So one, not enough people are coming in to the profession. So colleges are seeing a decline in the people coming in, but then also the people who are already in and already functioning CPAs and accountants. A lot of firms have it where at a certain age, at 60 or 65, you have to vacate. You can no longer be there past maybe 60 years old. Like they have it mandated in their thing. So with all these baby boomers, turning 60, 10,000 a day or whatever, all of these higher ranking accountants, partners and stuff like that are being forced out based off of age. It's just what the rules are, right? And so as they go into a retirement, there's not enough new interested CPAs coming, or people, students to become CPAs to come in to replace them. Now, at the same time, most of their positions didn't actually require them being CPAs. He mentioned that if you go into tax, being a CPA is cool, but it's probably not necessarily required. And if you go into some of these other situations, be it consulting or whatever, CPA is not necessarily required. But in audit, you may find it more necessary in audit because you got to have somebody to sign financial statements. And that's mainly the difference between a CPA and a non-CPA. CPAs are required to sign, you need a CPA to sign financial statements. So audit reports and things like that, you'll probably need a CPA to sign off on that. Other than that, a regular accountant with no certification can pretty much do everything else that a CPA can do. And so I just find it like very interesting that this guy has made this whole statement about how 80% of the market don't really feel like employers are requiring it or it's going to help their career. And this other guy's like, well, it's value in it. And then the guy he brings in right behind him goes on further to say, it kind of don't really seem to be mattering much, honestly. Anyway, I got to go dive deeper into this. But right now you're watching Casino Is the Name. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. Get in the comment section. Let me know what you guys think about this. Do you guys think that it's really beneficial? I thought I was on an island by myself. I didn't know that there was 80% of the industry also feeling the same way. That's crazy. Anyway, right now you're watching Casino Is the Name. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe, and we out.
There are hedge fund managers making $1 million an hour. It's crazy, right? It's money everywhere. It's money in everything. I want to help you. Start your business today. Come join my royal family. Subscribe to Casino Is the Name.